My new Coleman CT100u. I just got her. Just about brandy new. It's still got the nubs on the tires. Somebody rode it around in the grass in their yard. I think it's appropriate that they sell these at like a Tractor Supply because this is a lawnmower engine and these are tractor fenders. And pretty much that's the whole like vibe they've got going, is a very utilitarian kind of piece of lawn equipment. It's heavy, it's boxy. I think a lot of people would overlook something like this, right? Because instead of the CT100, you can go to the CT200. And the CT200 is got like double the horsepower. And, this sucker tops out at about 20 miles per hour. I'm more than 150 pounds. And it's going to put a lot of stress on this little, budget equipment here. But we have to stay with the clutch. That's going to limit us a lot. And we have to stay with this chain drive, sprockets. The rules are all in the other video that I put together, but there's some limits on what I can do. Honestly, if there were no limits, I would just put the motor out of a 100cc or 125cc Honda with a 3-speed. And for about $400, I could get that motor and put it in here, and our top speed would go to about 60 miles an hour. Putting $1,000 of modifications into this little tractor, it's nutty, it's kooky. Somebody could do it. I am going to very much, limit myself. The urge to go really fast is there. As heck, I'm not going to leave that poor anemic. By the 70s, all automobile engines had overhead valves. This technology is 1960s, 1950s era technologies. Updates to the electronic, but there's no adjustment, there's no points. It's just like a special kind of thing that's cheaper. It's not better, it's cheaper. And then the overhead valves is a better setup. But this is by no stretch of anyone's imagination a performance engine. This is basic. And Coleman, they selected this because it is an entry level. They don't want it to go too fast. It's for small children. It's their first mini bike. It's something they can drop repeatedly and it probably won't break. If the motor gets burned up, burned out, rusted out, damaged in some way, it's a $100 motor tops. If you want to update, you're going to want something a little bigger, maybe better brakes. You might want like a light on the front. None of that stuff is here. Who's really up to the challenge? You know what I mean? Like, you want to put nitrous on your bike? Maybe you'll go really fast once. Heck, put a blower on it. That would be a race. I would pay, I'd pay $1 to see that. Keep watching, because I'm going to tear into this sucker. So my first interest is to see this little baby clutch. Stupid metric. Metric system is my nemesis. I better just get out the metric tools, because I don't think any of this is going to be standard. Anybody have no metric tools? When I was a kid, for a while, there were no metric tools. My dad didn't have any metric tools. What year did you have to get metric tools? Like, did it, not just a couple of sockets, but you were, broke down and really got the whole set of wrenches, I've got a whole set of deep well sockets, and I've got a whole set of box wrenches for metric, and I couldn't get anywhere without them these days. I think I had a Chevy Chevette. I might have done some pretty serious wrenching on that and put a cylinder head on it and stuff like that with no metric, but it's hard to say. I think my first real wrench set. What brand was your first real wrench set? Was it, mine was a Craftsman. I still have a bunch of the original sockets, and that is 30 years old. I was about 15 maybe when I bought it. Factory little clutch. This chain, that's pretty tight. Whoever put this engine has slots. Someone started that engine all the way forward so that there's no adjustment. But there is, it's not a fixed chain. That's good. It's got a little, found it right away. It's got a master link. Come on out of there. On off of there. I don't know what size chain this is yet. I don't think it's 420 chain. I haven't done a lot of motorcycle riding, but is there any advantage to having the engine up this high? I don't understand exactly why it would be where it is. That's a little shaft. 5/8 shaft, maybe? Pretty simple. It's heavy. It's a beefy thing. That's our factory unit, required by the race rules. I'm going to get a spare in case it gets cooked a little bit while I'm doing testing. Looks like it's got 3 sets of wings and a spring, 3 sets of weights and a spring that holds them all in. Doesn't have needle bearings. It'll be good for a while. I mean, that's, what do you want? It's the cheapest thing you can buy. All right, let's take a look at the rest of this here. Now, the clutch is off, the chain is off. What else is connected to this here engine? We have the kill switch. You're gonna need an 8 and a 10 millimeter. Okay, let's turn it around. Okay, this side, we've got an even smaller, be a 7 millimeter, do it. Yeah! And a Phillips screwdriver. It's got these nice little cast foot pegs. Them are kind of neat. Bolts that hold the motor from the underside are 10 millimeter on the bottom and somewhere around 12 on the top. Couldn't find my 12 millimeter wrench, so I can't be sure, but I think that's pretty much where we're at. Once they're loose, the motor slides forward and backwards a little bit. And that's for chain tension, although there is also a chain tensioner. So nice little features. All right, those are the 4 bolts that mount to the motor, to the chassis. We've got this throttle cable disconnected, 2 wires, and a master link on the chain. And then slides right out. Oh boy. She's going to go away to the fab shop to get some special work, maybe some custom fenders, a better seat. Different set of pegs, perhaps, and we'll see where it goes from there. We can't modify the frame too much, so we're just going to have some fun with it.